Hi, welcome to Valley Prep Tutoring. This training is going to be about some overall basic strategies that you can use on the SAT math section regardless of what type of problem it is. And by knowing some of the secrets of how the test is graded and at what time different difficulty levels come in, you can make really smart choices about how to use your time and when to guess. The first thing that you need to know about the test is that the answer choices and the questions are ordered from easiest to hardest. That means the first part of the test is going to be easiest, and as it goes on, it should be getting more difficult. You can use this to your advantage. If it's one of the first problems on the test and you're finding yourself stumped, it might not be because it's a difficult problem that's over your head. You might be just missing something or overthinking it. So it'd be a really good idea, reread the question and see if you understand the prompt exactly correctly. Later on, if it's towards the bottom of the test and it seems like there's a really difficult problem, it probably is because it's actually difficult. Now, the best thing to do in that situation is to circle it and move on if it's a type of question that you feel like you're not going to be able to get quickly. The reason is because all points and questions on the test are given the exact same number of points for a correct answer, which is just one. Whether it's an easy question in the beginning or a difficult question at the end, if you get it right, you get 1 point. Obviously, then, you want to put your time into the places where you can quickly get the most number of points. So certainly start with the easiest questions. Begin in the beginning of the test. Get your easy 1 point right away. If you run into a problem, for instance, in the beginning, for whatever reason is tripping you up, don't spend 3 or 4 minutes on it because those 3 or 4 minutes could be used going into other questions that you're also going to be able to get the point from. So just circle the problems that are difficult for you, come back at the end when you have issues with them, when you have time. Now that also goes not just for beginning easiest to hardest, it also goes for the type of problem. Let's say you're a whiz in geometry that always comes easy during class, never an issue, versus algebra, you're always like, oh my god, what are all these x and y's, I don't even know what to deal with them. Then you're probably going to want to focus on the geometry questions. Go ahead and get those easy 1 points for those, because if you just spend 30 seconds on those geometry questions just killing them, and then all of a sudden later you're spending 5 minutes on each of the algebra questions, you're getting the same number of points, but you're spending way more time. So go ahead and get the easy points out of the way first with the problems that are at the beginning and the types of problems that you feel most comfortable with. The other thing to keep in mind has to do with when you should guess. Now, a lot of teachers will probably tell you don't ever guess, it's a bad thing. And in general, if you have time to work out a problem, definitely work it out. But here's the tricky thing that not a lot of students know. The way the test takers score it, make it so that if you were to randomly guess the entire way through, you would break even. I'll explain why. Every single time you get an answer choice correct, you get 1 point. Every time you miss, you get off a quarter of a point. Now there's 5 answer choices in the math section for each one, which means if you were to randomly guess, most likely you're going to get one right about 1 out of every 5 times, just by chance. That means 1 out of every 5 times you're getting 1 point. 1 out of every 4 times, the other 4 times, you're missing a quarter of a point. 4 times minus a quarter of a point is a point off. So every 5 questions, you get a point, you lose a point, you break even. But look at this. If you're able to confidently eliminate one of the answer choices through process of elimination, and you know for sure it's not A, now all of a sudden, let's say you did that with every single problem in the test, now all of a sudden you're not getting 1 right every 5, you're probably going to get 1 right every 4. If you can eliminate 3 answer choices, leaving just 2 correct ones from every single problem in the test, hypothetically speaking, so every single one you're only dealing with 2 answer choices, that means every other one you're probably going to get right, so you're getting a full point, whereas you're only missing a quarter of a point. Which really means every 8 questions you answer, you're actually getting 3 points. You're gaining 3 points, and you're going ahead. So another way to say it, that's really a much more simple way, is if you can confidently eliminate any of the answer choices, if you go ahead and guess, you're actually doing yourself a favor if you have to if time's running out. As always, if you have time, go through it and actually try to solve it. But if you're running out of time at the end, and let's say you have 3 or 4 problems that you started, but you weren't able to finish, but you know that choice A is not correct or choice C, or especially if you use the PITA method and you started with choice C and you rule that out and you kind of could figure out that choice A and B are probably not correct either because the answers were too low and you needed to go higher. You can look more at the PITA video for examples on when you would do that. All of a sudden you're in a really great place where it's actually going to be the smart thing. If those seconds are counting down and the proctor is telling you that, okay, we only have 1 minute left, rather than letting those answers go because you didn't get to the correct answer, it's actually a pretty good idea at that point if you can narrow a few down to a few different answer choices and you can confidently eliminate some. Go ahead and guess on those last few as time is running out. You keep those in mind, and you're going to keep racking up those extra little points that's going to put you into the next level and really get you those great college acceptance letters that you deserve. Best of luck.